that the Constitution is actually maintained. Here's the bottom line is this. You either support the Constitution or you do not.
Oh, wait a minute. That is really the bottom line, huh? Again, you don't like free speech. You infringed on several people's free speech in City Hall, in chambers, in council chambers. You don't like law enforcement, even though ICE is there for federal law, which is all based on constitutionality of sovereignty, again, and protecting our due process as citizens. But you don't care about that, right? You want to act like it's just federal law and just the Constitution or not. Well, what are you doing that you are upholding the Constitution? You literally keep violating our civil rights here in Chicago, here in Illinois, and have the audacity to keep focusing on Trump, who's actually doing something that will help strengthen our city and our government. But you don't seem to see that because someone has something over your head. And you probably don't have much in there other than, like I said, week 12, 5th grade social studies. Criminal detainers, illegal immigration, border crossings, no due process. If you do not cross legally, if you do not show up to your court dates, if you do not comply with seeking your proper citizenship or residency or visas. I don't know what to tell you. And other presidents have enforced it, but for some reason you're about to have a cow. I hope your diaper is really strong over this because it's Trump. But Trump. You lie.
And right now this president is literally just trampling all over the Constitution right now and doing it in plain sight. And so we're going to do everything in our power. Beatrice Ponce de Leon, Deputy Mayor. We're going to make sure that people know their rights. Well, we'll relaunch again to ensure that people of Chicago know their rights.
What are my rights? Yeah. What are my rights to stop you from doing this posturing against Chicago police, who I pay taxes for, this posturing against ICE, which I voted for, this posturing to completely dismantle affordable housing, affordable businesses, anything affordable in Chicago so that you can line the pockets of your buddies in real estate, in development, in churches, Will Hall with his album drop. I don't know what else you're paying for.
Thank you, Mayor. Could you or Mary maybe update us on the investigation by the Department of Justice into the hiring?
Not you brought this shit up after
having
you see
to
me say all
supply
that
documents?
I'm glad I stayed tuned. Hold on, this is going to be good.
Have you had to do interviews? Is that something you can address?
Just before I turn over to Mary Richardson Laurie.
I can't say nothing really. Let me tell you what the lawyer told me to say real quick, and then now I'm going to pass it to her.
This is so fraudulent.
You, my friend, you.
It's a slap in the face to the civil rights era movement. I mean, you have a president that is establishing a cabinet that looks like the country club, the oligarchs, the ultra-rich, individuals who have no...
He literally just has buzzwords. He is a glossary of Marxist vomit. 12th grade, 12th, I'm sorry, not 12th grade. He didn't get that far. 5th grade, 12 weeks.
Background and training in the very department in which they are entrusted to serve.
Oh, he's gone.
We're very proud of the fact that we have a number of incredibly talented, capable, diverse individuals that are helping to transform our city. There's clearly benefit in the way my administration has approached governance. Violent crime is down, investments are up. So this is not about whether or not we're effective.
Eileen Burke.
This is about
Larry Snelling. That was like your only good pick was Larry Snelling.
So that he can continue his efforts to rob working people in this country. Mary?
You are robbing us with the speed cameras. They just did a study on all these speed cameras that are actually not placed in places to actually be safe, which is what the intention is supposed to be. They are money grabs. Will Hall, who I tried to address this with, but you wanted to cut me off and yell at me because you knew I was on to something, you punk.
1940s lost weight. The first ultra-processed food was Kellogg's Corn Flakes. They partnered with the United
Mary Richardson Laurie Corporation Counsel.
Yeah, get this loud.
We have begun to have a dialogue with the Justice Department regarding their letter. We did finally formally receive a copy of their letter in which they assert Title VII violations is their allegation, contingent upon the ongoing communications that we have with them. So we will be submitting a response, a written response to them so they understand our position. They in turn are going to be submitting some questions to us to help to narrow the scope of their request. And then that dialogue will continue within the bounds of the law.
Very good, thank you.
So basically, it's too much shit for us to turn over right now. Let me translate, y'all. I'm scared with him, but I can't say it. So we gonna write a letter and ask, can we please limit the scope of this? Because if we send over too much stuff, you definitely gonna find something out. So how about your move? Tell me exactly what y'all looking for. If we can narrow this down, so we can get out of this a little bit, because I don't even think there's any hope. Why her mouth not even moving? Mary is not okay, bro. You stressing her out.
Thank you. Mayor, can you step back from all of this a little bit and talk about being
He had to drink some water.
mayor of a blue city and the challenge of that right now? Are you all on a text chain wondering how you're going to communicate for the next 3 years and 7 months?
What, so you can FOIA it?
Yes, please.
So that's a great question. What I will say is this. There are some fundamental differences between cities that are ran by Democrats and those ran by other members of different parties or a different party, Republican Party. But there's one thing, though, that is consistent, is that we know that it's at the city level is where government really shows up for people. And so in that regard, that there is a universal line of communication through the U.S. Conference of Mayors, which I believe I'm going next week to talk to mayors all over the country, and they all won't be Democrats, right? They're all concerned with what I'm concerned about, whether you're Republican or Democrat or independent or
I
otherwise.
thought they were evil. I thought they were the country club.
Community
I
safety,
thought they were George Wallace.
investing in housing, healthcare, and good paying jobs, our education system.
I'm confused.
You know, as far as, Democratic cities, I will say that it is clear that there is more intentionality around the Trump administration to attack democratically ran cities. In fact,
No,
Governor
it's just 'cause
Abbott
you're an
spent
idiot.
millions of dollars attacking our city. Literally spent millions of dollars, not trying to work in
You
collaboration
did
to
that
coordinate
DOJ thing to
how we
yourself.
can
Broad daylight.
deal with what occurred or what was happening at the border. I will say, though, that our resolve is my resolve and our collective resolve still remains. I will say, though, that communication extends beyond mayors. It even speaks to community groups. I'm going to turn over to our Deputy Mayor, Ponce de Leon. She can speak about some of the work that's happening on the ground and the way in which
'Cause she
we're
couldn't
all
answer that other
communicating
question.
to ensure
He said, "This is an
that we're
idiot
showing
here.
up
Let me give
for
her
working
something
people.
easy. Please let me
And
know
at
how
this
this-
time in
this
particular, our
slow
immigrant community.
curve, this slow
Thank you, Mayor.
straight.
Yes, thanks for that question.
Ball.
Our team
Softball.
is part of a network, a national network of immigrant affairs, immigrant rights offices out of mayor's offices. So we are certainly connected to them there and are seeing the types of activities that are going on in other cities as well. But locally, we meet and often are in touch with the major organizations that are fighting this and trying to inform residents. So the National Immigrant Justice Center, the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant Refugee Rights, the Resurrection Project, OCAD. And what we hear is certainly people are afraid, but people are also finding ways to stand up for their rights and to get
Tear up the city,
connected to resources. And just a couple of
steal from the citizens.
the challenges right now is the need for legal support for deportation defense and for legal guidance. And as you know, we try to drive some philanthropic private dollars in that direction, but also just send an invitation out to lawyers and others that might want to support
Definitely lawyers. We need a lot of them.
those efforts. That is the most pressing need that we're seeing right now. And then in working with these organizations, also pushing out not only the Know Your Rights information, but ways that families and individuals can be prepared in the case of a detention and what they
Because it's gonna happen if you didn't get your shit together like we was warning you. He gave you a chance. You could have took that quick $1,000 and took yourself home, but now you want to go through all this stress because Ponce de Leon told you it'll be okay. Know your rights. But she couldn't answer any real questions. She had to take this softball.
Can do. So I am often sharing this number, but I want to share it again. There's the hotline. It's 1-855-435.
She's getting paid all this money to be a telephone operator. This is crazy work.
7693. That's for any immigration-related question or emergency. People recommend that give them a call. And
What's the
then
number for
the
ICE?
shared website that is with the state and some of the organizations. And that one is good for beyond Chicago. And we're seeing, and we might see these actions happening outside of the city as well. So that is IllinoisImmigrationInfo.org. But we are in
What's the number for
regular
ICE?
communication with those organizations.
They could let me in there. That's what I'm screaming now. What's the number for ICE?
Hi, Mayor. How are you? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Woo, that was hard.
All right.
Take the
What
camera
do we
over.
know about the ICE tactical units that are going to be sent